If you have 3.2, 3.4 million Kenya shillings and you're looking for an off-roader, you could do the sensible thing and what most people seem to be doing these days and get yourself a Suzuki Jimny. But what if you're looking for something different, something a bit more exotic, something bigger, something that will turn more heads than a Jimny? Well, I have something for you today. I have this. This is a Jeep Wrangler TJ. Two-door, soft top, 4-liter engine on this thing, which is more than twice what you get in the top-range Jimny. And here's the kick. You could actually get two of this for the price of one Jimny. So if you're worried about the reliability of this thing because it's American, you could have one that you're off-roading with while the other one is at the mechanic.
Or if the fuel consumption of the 4-liter engine is more of a concern to you, you could just get one. And the money you've saved because you didn't get a Jimny can be used to buy a petrol station. So no matter how you slice it, it is a good financial decision. Don't let Jimny evangelists talk you out of it. You are getting a piece of automotive history. Jeep enthusiasts will tell you that the TJ is the last true Jeep. After this, Jeep ditched the simple inline-six for a complex V6 they picked from the Chrysler parts bin. Made the car more complex and heavier while cutting down on power. Jeep did end up selling more Jeeps for that reason, but enthusiasts felt betrayed. But of course, the worst sin of all was the introduction of a 4-door Jeep. Yuck.
Hello good people, you're watching Kaizen. Let's take a review of the Jeep Wrangler TJ. Right, let's start at the very front of this car. Now, you might recognize this look from some other cars, maybe a Suzuki Jimny or a Mobius. Well, if you buy this car, you actually have the luxury of telling your mates that this is the original one. This 7-bar grille originated from a Willys Jeep from back in World War II. So anything that has this look is actually a copycat of the Jeep. The Jeep is the originator of this look. Something nice. Rounded headlights here and there. A very strong bull bar, which if you rear end someone is definitely a write-off, which is why you need car insurance. So WhatsApp the number in the description to get yourself insured. A very long bonnet because this thing has an inline-six engine, which is very long, which we'll talk about later on. Indicator lights here and there. Yeah, so the look of this thing at the very front is very original. Anything else that looks like this is definitely a copy of the Jeep. And that's something you can brag about. Let's look at the side profile. Right, because it's a two-door, it's a short wheelbase. Like I mentioned, it's a soft close, so you can manually open this top here, so it looks like a convertible. And if you don't care about flies getting into your mouth, you can actually fold over this windscreen like this. Massive wheel arch flares here, which look good. Sport Jeep Wrangler badging at the side here. Door hinges that looks more like something you'd find in an agricultural house than in a car. Look really nice. I like the door handles. They are nice and big. And wheel arches at the back here. This is where your fuel goes. You'll need to remember that because it's a very thirsty 4-liter engine and you will be heading to a petrol station quite often. Yeah, overall it's a very nice looking side profile. Again, very original. Many cars have copied this look and this is the original one. Let's look at the back. Alright, the back here is dominated by this 17-inch original Jeep wheel and tire. There is a very simple protruding tail lamp here, a nice looking exhaust pipe, and something you use for towing. And because it's a soft top, when you open the boot, this is all you get. It's not enough to abduct a whole adult, maybe just a child. Right, let's look at what powers the Jeep Wrangler. Right, so the bonnet of the Jeep Wrangler is opened by these latches here, which is a nod to back when these things were closed using leather belts. So when you open the bonnet of the Jeep Wrangler, you'll be met by a very long engine. This is a 4-liter naturally aspirated inline-six. It makes about 190 horsepower. Obviously, some of those horses have escaped since this thing came to Africa because they don't like the climate, but that's plenty for a car that only carries 2. So it sends all that power through a 5-speed manual transmission to all the 4 wheels.
Well, actually, as I later realized by a quick inspection of the gear lever, this one has a rare 6-speed manual, which quite reassuringly came from Germany. The shorter gear ratios mean you get better gas mileage, a drop in the ocean for the 4-liter inline-six, but on the Jeep, every drop counts.
So it's a plenty powerful engine for its use. Right, let's look at the interior of the Jeep Wrangler. It's a very tall car, so you have to do some jumping to get in. But when you get in, it's a very comfortable driving position, which it needs to be because this thing rides on solid axle suspension. If you don't know what solid axle suspension, it's about the same as what you find in a tractor. So on the road, this thing is pretty uncomfortable, but it's good for off-roading, which is why you get this thing. Right, so a nice and rounded steering wheel. You have your cruise control here, which it does have. An analog gauge cluster over here, which is nice. Your manual AC controls over here and an infotainment system. This is how you operate your manual gearbox, of course, because it's on off-road. It has a 2 high, 4 high, neutral and 4 low. I'm not very familiar with off-roading terms, but I'm sure that means you get 4 torque settings for the same 5-speed manual gearbox. Yeah, so manual handbrakes here, which is nice. It has a nice armrest here, which you'll have to argue with your passenger who gets to use it. Right, you have a cup holder here. There's 2 of them, but one of them doubles as an ashtray, which is removable. So if you go to smoke trees in the bush, you can carry your ashtray and then bring back your ash to the car. Right, so it's a very comfortable interior. The windscreen is quite flat, but like I mentioned, you can fold it over and get flies into your mouth. Yeah, very comfortable in here. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Let's look at the passenger princess accommodation. Right, so it's a very tall car, so you might want to not wear your skirt, but sat here, it's a very comfortable position. There is a handle here so that when the driver is doing crazy off-road stuff, you have somewhere to hang on to. An enormous glove box here for, I guess, your makeup, which I don't know how you're going to use because there isn't a mirror here. It's a very comfortable position. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Right, let's look at what's at the back. Right, so if you thought there was a door here, you would be wrong. How you open this is through this zipper here on the soft top canvas, and that's what you get at the back here. So it's, I don't know if a human being can fit here, but there is a seat here. If you have children, then maybe they can fit here, but ideally, this is where you'd put your tenting and camping equipment. But if you really wanted to fit someone here, you would. Yeah, let's look at the boot. This is what you get as the boot in the Jeep Wrangler. It's not enough to abduct a whole human being, just maybe a child. So as you can see, it's pretty small, so you would need to fold your back seats to fit some of your camping equipment. Yeah, so it's pretty small. It's just there so it can hold the spare wheel. Right, it's a 3 out of 10. So the Jeep Wrangler TJ, it's a very capable off-roader and it's good looking with the original Jeep look, which many car companies have copied. So if you want this specific one, you can get it for 1.7 million Kenya shillings. Just WhatsApp the number in the description below if you want it. Remember, this review was brought to you by Cousin, your motor insurance partner. If you're looking for car insurance, just WhatsApp the number in the description to get yourself covered. Right, that's been it for today. I will see you in the next one.